Greetings, my scattered sisters and brothers in the Lord. Trust you know the Lord is with you today, and that you also know that the Lord's presence is more than enough for whatever you might face today. We are taking a look at Psalm number 30 today. Let me go ahead and read it, pray it for us. I will exalt you, O Lord, for you lifted me out of the depths. You did not let my enemies gloat over me. O Lord my God, I called to you for help, and you healed me. O Lord, you brought me up from the grave. You spared me from going down into the pit. Sing to the Lord, you saints of his. Praise his holy name. For his anger lasts only a moment, but his favor lasts a lifetime. Weeping may remain for a night, but rejoicing comes in the morning. When I felt secure, I said, I will never be shaken. O Lord, when you favored me, you made my mountain stand firm. But when you hid your face, I was dismayed. To you, O Lord, I called. To the Lord I cried for mercy. What gain is there in my destruction, in my going down into the pit? Will the dust praise you? Will it proclaim your faithfulness? Hear, O Lord, and be merciful to me. O Lord, be my help. You turn my wailing into dancing. You remove my sackcloth and clothe me with joy, that my heart may sing to you and not be silent. O Lord my God, I will give you thanks forever. This psalm is a Thanksgiving psalm, and it sounds like the occasion may be recovery from an illness. I cried out to you and you healed me. I was going down to the pit, but you lifted me up. But it's a Thanksgiving psalm. And in a Thanksgiving psalm, typically what happens is that you are giving thanks to God for rescuing you, and in particular, for hearing your prayer. That you cried out to God, that's a lament. You cried out to God, you were in pain, things weren't right, maybe you were sick, maybe people were against you. Whatever the issue was, you were crying out to God, and it was a dark time. And now, in a Thanksgiving psalm, God has heard your prayer. And so you come back to God and you're giving thanks and praise to God for how he answered you and for how he lifted you up, how he turned your wailing into dancing and your night into morning. And so it's a psalm of thanksgiving. Now, two things I want us to take from it. One is, too often we only pray to God when things are going wrong. And so we lament to God, we cry out to God, we want God to intercede, we want God to do something to make things right. And then God does, and then we don't pray. We don't come back and give thanks. We don't testify to God and offer our gratitude to God. We simply move on until the next crisis happens, and then we start praying again. And so the psalmist is trying to teach us to continue the conversation, that we don't just cry out to God, God hears our prayer, and then we don't pray again until there's another need. No, we need to complete the conversation by giving thanks and keep the conversation with God going. That's how we grow, is through ongoing conversation, not just through crying out, but through coming back and giving thanks to God and praise to God. The second aspect of it is that others need to hear us give thanks to God. Because when we stop and we give thanks to God, and this is in the book of Psalms, so this is kind of public material, not just private prayer time, that when we stop and give thanks to God, what that does is it encourages somebody else that's still in the midst of their night, that's still in the midst of their wailing, that's still in the midst of their sorrow. And they begin to hear like, wow, God heard their prayer, God answered their prayer. And all of a sudden, our thanksgiving to God becomes a source of encouragement to others. That just as God heard our prayer, God will hear their prayers. And so our thanksgiving gives encouragement to hold on, to keep crying out to God, that God does answer prayer, that God does make things right, that God does bring healing, God does bring justice, God does turn our nights into morning and our sorrow into joy and into dancing. And so, wherever you find yourself scattered today, the challenge for you is, the challenge for me, for us is, to make sure that we give thanks to God for the ways that he has heard our prayers and brought us through stuff. And as we give thanks to God, we testify and we let others know, yes, I'm grateful to God because He brought me through. And when we do that, not only do we complete the conversation with God, but we'll give encouragement to someone else to keep trusting, to keep waiting upon the Lord, that the Lord does indeed answer prayer. And so, wherever you find yourself scattered today, may it be a day in which you reflect on how the Lord has heard your prayers and you respond with thanksgiving. You'll complete the conversation and you'll encourage someone else. So God bless and have a thankful day.